outrageous price increases, unexpected closures, and a lot of discontinued extras. If you aren't aware of what's going on in Disney World right now, you are going to be blindsided when you arrive. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. We may be seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and many of you are planning your next big vacation. But if you haven't been to Disney World in over a year, you're in for some shock. Even if you've been to Disney World in the past few months, there are some recent changes that will make you do a double take. It's not all bad. We've experienced a few fun and totally unexpected surprises that we're going to talk about today. But if you don't know about this stuff, you might get caught totally unaware. And that's our job here on DFB Guide, is to make sure you guys don't get caught in situations that we find ourselves in where we're like, what happened? So that's why we want to do these videos every once in a while, to make sure you know this is different, you guys. This is different. So definitely be prepared and aware of this coming your way. All right. First big change that a lot of people aren't aware of is that you must wear a mask at your dining table until you have your food or drink. Now, Disney's health and safety policies have been updating a lot, and they now include a rule that you must wear a mask even while seated at a table inside a restaurant. You can only remove your mask if you're actively eating or drinking. If you're waiting for your food, you've got to have that mask on, even if you're seated at your table. Previously, once you were seated, you could remove the mask, but that's not the case anymore. Now, if you do need some time to remove your mask when you're not eating, you can stop by the relaxation stations in the parks. There are several in each park, some in the AC, some outside, and you can grab a seat or a standing table and remove your mask while you're in that area. Now, we always tell you to stay on top of new updates. Disney's altered their health and safety guidelines to fit with current CDC recommendations several times over the past year, and they're going to continue to do so. So pay attention to signs and announcements that will keep you up to speed on what rules are in place while you're in the parks. And if you have any questions, cast members are around to help. But yeah, at this point, even if you're seated inside a table service restaurant or at a table service restaurant, your mask has to be on unless you are actually drinking something or eating something. All right, and that's not the only recent change at restaurants in Disney World. We've got a price increase that is kind of upsetting people. Disney World has been kind of slow to raise prices on food this year. Typically, we see price hikes across the board on food and drink all over Disney World in October. But in 2020, that didn't happen. Instead, we're starting to see some unexpected and sometimes shocking price increases in random places. The most egregious example, spring rolls in Magic Kingdom suddenly jumped up by $2. Previously, you would get 2 spring rolls for $7.50, but when that spring roll cart reopened during spring break, the price had increased to $9.50 for 2. Now, these are tasty and frequently make our best snack lists, but $9.50 for 2 spring rolls? That is expensive. We also recently saw some price increases at Les Halles and Epcot's France Pavilion. A ham and cheese sandwich served on a croissant increased by $1.95, and mimosas now cost $1 more, along with a few less dramatic price increases. We're covering all the menu updates every single week over at DisneyFoodBlog.com, so you can check if there are any menu surprises leading up to your trip. All right, next change that you might be blindsided by. There is a lot of refurbishment and construction work going on at Disney World, and Main Street USA in Magic Kingdom is the latest location to see a lot of closed storefronts. The Main Street Confectionery has temporarily closed as the shop expands a bit and gets a customizable snack section, likely something similar to the Build Your Own Snack at Goofy's Candy Company in Disney Springs, where you can make your own candy apple, crispy treat, or marshmallow wand. Currently, it looks like the confectionery is going to be closed through June 19th. This date will likely be pushed out further, as that's just the date the current Disney World calendar goes to. In the meantime, you can get prepackaged snacks next door at the Main Street Cinema. The artwork and collectibles previously for sale at the Main Street Cinema are shifting over to Bonjour Village Gifts in Fantasyland. And by the way, if you're looking for hats and ears, Le Chapeau is also getting some work done, probably to expand the confectionery, and you'll find all that merchandise, Mickey ear hats, etc. at the Town Square Theater shop. Now, the Main Street Cinema doesn't have a bakery case, but you can actually find a lot of the same confectionery items at several bakery cases around Walt Disney World. The Contemporary in Buena Vista Gifts has a bakery case. The general store at the Boardwalk Inn has a bakery case with a lot of the same stuff. You'll find lots of the same stuff at Zuri's, in Animal Kingdom, the Candy Cauldron in Disney Springs and Goofy's Candy Company. They have a lot of the same items. So if you want something that you always get at the confectionery, those are the locations to go right now to try to get those. Okay, another big change again with restaurants. Some restaurants aren't all you can eat anymore, and they used to be. Now, these changes sound kind of terrible, but are actually turning out pretty okay, or sometimes great, according to some of our reporters. Crystal Palace and Magic Kingdom and Hollywood and Vine and Hollywood Studios have both reopened, but since there are a whole bunch of health and safety protocol in place, these restaurants have switched from their traditional buffet format to prix-fixe meals. That means these restaurants are no longer all you can eat. Appetizers are served family style to the table, and then everyone picks a single entree. Dessert is served in a little platter at Crystal Palace, but you pick a single option over at Hollywood and Vine. Also, there is one all-you-can-eat item, pancakes on the breakfast menu at Hollywood and Vine. Everything else is going to be one and done. Just a note, Chef Mickey's is also not currently running their buffet, but everything there is served family style and you can ask for more of anything you'd like. That's the same setup over at Beer Garden as well in Epcot. Now, these meals are still kind of pricey and Crystal Palace hasn't even brought back their characters. It's just a prix-fixe meal. So you do have characters at Hollywood and Vine and Chef Mickey's and several other locations, but that Crystal Palace price tag is a little high for no characters. That said, we are always happy to not have to go up to a buffet, not gonna lie. So if you're looking for a ton of food with lots of options to try a little bit of everything, you're gonna be disappointed at Crystal Palace and Hollywood and Vine. But our team has actually found they enjoy these meals a lot more than the typical buffet fare. The food is actually better than it was before. The quality's been better, the portions are solid, and yes, you're locked into picking one entree, but that entree is gonna be probably good. Don't be put off by the switch to a prix-fixe meal. The food seems to be better quality than when these restaurants were serving buffet style. Just make sure you like what's on the menu. There are only a few entree choices, and if none of them appeal to you, wait to hit these restaurants when they can operate as a buffet again, if they operate as a buffet again, and you'll have more options. All right, now this is a change we are happy to have blindsided by. It was such an awesome surprise to see all these amazing snacks in new places, and we want to make sure you don't miss the sneaky snacks. In the past month, 2 locations that pretty much never have savory snacks have churned out some surprisingly delicious and unexpected options. Sunshine Tree Terrace in Magic Kingdom, the spot where you can get a citrus swirl and sometimes fun Dole Whip floats, has some tasty pot stickers right now. You get 5 pork and vegetable dumplings with orange sesame ginger dipping sauce, and the whole thing is $6.99. They're pretty good portion size by Disney standards, and our team loved them. These might be your alternative if you want a savory snack but aren't looking to shell out the cash for those spring rolls. And the Joy of Tea kiosk in Epcot's China Pavilion also has a great new quick bite to help you power through World Showcase. The salt and pepper popcorn chicken is similar to Disney's chicken nuggets with a little less crunch, and they had a great flavor reminiscent of seasoned chicken wings. They come with bok choy for $7.95. It's a basic snack, but pretty solid and a great choice if you need a savory snack fast. There will probably be a shorter line here since it's typically just a drink stand, so no one's going to expect to find lunch or a snack item there. So there's a secret tidbit for you, and we hope you enjoy. All right, next thing we got blindsided by, no more Magic Bands for free. So if you've been to Disney World before, you probably have many Magic Bands laying around your house. But if it's your first trip or you haven't gotten a new Magic Band in a while, you may be bummed to find out they're no longer free if you're staying at a Disney Resort hotel. Magic Bands serve as your room key, your park ticket, and they link up all of your plans in an easily scannable piece of tech powered by RFID. You wear it on your wrist and can just tap for everything from getting into your hotel room to getting into the park to making purchases that are charged back to your room. This convenient item used to be free to all Disney hotel guests, but now you'll need to pay even if you want a basic color band. You can also use a key card that you can pick up at the front desk when you check in if you don't want to pay for a Magic Band. You might want to swing by the front desk anyway because some other perks that come with booking a Disney World vacation package are no longer automatically sent, like luggage tags. Those used to be sent to your house before your trip, and while they're still free, you need to stop by the front desk at your hotel to pick them up. Now, I bet you guys are wanting me to talk about using your phone as your Magic Band. Well, that's our next change that we want to tell you about. You can use your phone for everything now. If you don't want to buy a Magic Band, but you also aren't loving the idea of using a key card, you can actually opt out of both and use your phone for nearly everything in Disney World at this point. This change is brand new and it just rolled out. MagicMobile has launched on most Apple products and should soon be available for Android users. You'll need to set up MagicMobile within your My Disney Experience account and keep Bluetooth turned on. Then you'll be able to use your phone or Apple Watch essentially as a Magic Band. You can tap into the parks using just your phone or Apple Watch, and your in-ride photos will automatically link to your account via Bluetooth, similar to how RFID tech in your MagicBand would link photos. All this new tech doesn't mean that MagicBands are being phased out. Disney's still pumping out new designs for you to purchase, but instead, MagicMobile can be used in addition to or as an alternative to Disney's MagicBands and key cards. Essentially, you've got options, and you might want to keep a backup MagicBand or card just in case your phone battery dies, which it will. All right, that Monorail update, Monorail Blindside change. The Monorail doesn't stop at the Polynesian until mid-summer. So the Polynesian Village Resort is undergoing some massive renovation at the moment. The resort's getting a whole new entrance, guest rooms are getting a Moana retheme, and the entire monorail station was completely demoed, which means you aren't hopping on the monorail at the Poly right now. The resort is scheduled to reopen in late July, and rooms are available for booking starting July 19th. Those Moana rooms will be available then, so there's a good chance that the rest of that construction work is scheduled to wrap up within the next few months as well. Even though the resort isn't fully open yet, DVC rooms are still available, and Kona Cafe's been open since last July. Tambu Lounge is open as well. So you may have a visit to the Polynesian in your plans before that monorail station is open, and you're going to want to have a plan to get there. Now, you can walk from the Grand Floridian and the Magic Kingdom via the relatively new walking path. You can also walk from the Transportation and Ticket Center over to the Polynesian, or you can get a ride share or drive yourself to a dinner reservation at the hotel. Of course, there are also buses that go to the Polynesian from all the parks. Now, speaking of getting blindsided by Disney World changes, when it comes to that monorail, remember the Epcot monorail is still not available. That guy hasn't been around since the parks reopened last July, and he's still not around. So if you're used to hopping on the monorail to get to Epcot from Magic Kingdom or from your Magic Kingdom Resort Hotel, that is not going to be happening. You've got to figure out a different way. Now, of course, there's buses, ride shares, taxis, your own car, etc. Lots of ways to get there, but it's not going to be the monorail. All right, are you ready for everyone's favorite Disney World change that you will be blindsided by? Those barges on World Showcase Lagoon. I know a lot of you are not fans of the huge new barges in the center of World Showcase Lagoon in Epcot. And if you haven't been to Epcot in a while, you may be shocked to see these gigantic hunks of metal in the middle of the lagoon. Did Disney buy the rights to Stargate? Is Thanos invading Disney World? No, we're just finally getting a fireworks show. And, whenever it's safe to have fireworks shows again, these barges are going to be a permanent fixture at Epcot. It's not like the Illuminations globe that just rolls out for showtime. These things are there 24/7 and will stay there 24/7 as long as this show runs, which Illuminations ran for 20 years, so be prepared. Now, during the day, they will operate as fountains, and at night, they'll be a part of the show with lasers and pyrotechnics. But until those fountains are operational, the barges are definitely an eyesore. We will see what happens when they are operational. I don't know if they'll still be an eyesore or not. Everybody's fingers crossed. All right, next thing that might blindside you, especially if you're going to Disney World next year. Magical Express, y'all. If you always use that free Disney bus to get between the airport and your Disney hotel, you're going to need to make other plans starting in January 2022. Disney's Magical Express is being discontinued, and currently there's no information on a replacement. Mears, the company that is contracted to run Magical Express, will still be serving routes between the airport and Disney hotels, but the service will not be free and offered as part of your vacation package. You'll need to book it separately. You can also opt for a taxi or rideshare service like Lyft or Uber, or consider renting a car. There is an Alamo rental car location in Disney World. It's right near Magic Kingdom, and of course there's tons of rental cars at the airport. Keep in mind though, if you plan on parking that rental car at your Disney hotel, you'll need to pay parking fees each night of your trip. Now, there is that high-speed rail line coming sometime in the future that will connect the Orlando Airport and Disney Springs, but that won't be opening until probably 2025 by current predictions. So that one may take a while to replace Magical Express. All right, next change you need to know about. You're not going to Typhoon Lagoon because only one water park is open right now. Yep, we're still waiting for several things to reopen in Disney World, and that includes Typhoon Lagoon. Blizzard Beach reopened in early March following nearly a full year closure. So if you're just looking for some water slides, you might not be too picky about which one you end up going to. But if you had your heart set on visiting Typhoon Lagoon during your next trip, you will be out of luck. Disney hasn't set a reopening date yet for their second water park, but we'll keep you posted if any announcements are released. Okay, now this is a really, really huge one because I hear from people all the time who aren't aware of this giant change, and that's ride refurbishments. Disney World's been taking advantage of the lower crowds in the parks to spruce up a few rides in anticipation of the 50th anniversary coming in October of this year. The Mad Tea Party and Swiss Family Treehouse both have reopened following a short refurbishment. Hall of Presidents is still closed as the President Biden animatronic is added. Kali River Rapids has just finished its yearly tune-up, and the Disney World Railroad is still closed as construction continues on the Tron coaster in Magic Kingdom. But still, some rides have unexpectedly been closed for a long time. The People Mover is still closed. That reopening date keeps getting pushed further out, though we've seen the ride testing, which gives us hope that it may one day reopen. And there are a few unannounced refurbishments on the horizon. Both Splash Mountain and Jungle Cruise will be getting some work done in the near future, but Disney's not shared a date for when those projects will begin. So if you're traveling to Disney World anytime in the next year or so, those are two rides you're going to want to keep an eye on. So how do you find out what's being refurbished when you're going? Because it's a huge hassle if you plan and plan and plan for years and years to go to Disney World, and whoops, the one ride your kid wanted to ride is closed for refurbishment through your whole trip. This has happened to me a million times. Not really, I'm exaggerating, but it's happened to me a couple times, and it's a huge bummer. So Disney World has a ride refurb page on their website. You can go and see what's coming up as going under refurbishments. You can see what's going to be closed and when. We also on Disney Food Blog report every single week what's going to be closed. So you will have that coming in if you're a newsletter subscriber, or if you just go and read the site, we'll have information about what's going to be closed. So there are absolutely ways to find this out. You don't have to be blindsided by it. Just go check the ride refurb list and you'll see what's going to be closed in the near future. And keep checking it, because even if you have a trip booked for a year out, you want to keep looking at that refurb list, because if your kid loves cars and Test Track is suddenly going to be closed when you're going, it may make sense to change your trip dates. I don't know. Some people may think that's crazy. AJ, why would I change a trip I've been planning for 2 years just because my kid can't ride Test Track? I am a parent who spoils my child, apparently, and I probably would consider changing my trip dates. Oh man, it's a bad scene. All right. Park hopping, y'all. Park hopping is back with so many things changing over the past year and so many things being discontinued. You may have totally missed that park hopping is back, but it's pretty different. You got some hoops to jump through if you want to visit more than one park each day in Disney World right now. First, you need to make a park pass reservation in advance and visit the park you made that reservation for. That's number one. Then, after 2 p.m., you can visit another park, so long as that park doesn't reach capacity. If the park is full, you'll have to wait to go in. By the way, Disney has a phone number that you can call to see if your next park is full or not. Now, Disney may change the time that park hopping starts, but for right now, it's 2 p.m. So our best advice for now, don't buy a park hopper ticket until you know you need it. Buy your regular one-day ticket, and then if you want a park hop, you can always go add the park hopper option onto your ticket. Now, that might mean you add it in immediately when you get to Disney World because you want to park hop right away, or it may be 1 or 2 days into your vacation. This is one upgrade that won't be cheaper if you buy it in advance. It's the same price if you buy it when you first purchase your ticket versus buying it at guest relations in the park. And the price is tied to how long your ticket is and how many days you will park hop. So you won't get a discount if you only add park hopper onto the last 2 days of your 7-day ticket. But overall, it can be better to wait and see if you actually want it or need it once you arrive. Crowds are so unpredictable right now, you may be able to get everything done without park hopping, and you can save some money. All right, this is another big one that I get asked about just about every single day. Nope, you can't buy an annual pass right now. If you were considering becoming a Disney World annual pass holder soon, the bad news is annual passes are still not for sale. This is for new annual pass holders, though. If you have an annual pass, you will be able to renew it. And if you had canceled your annual pass during the park closures and regretted that decision, you can contact the annual pass holder assistance team, and you should be able to essentially renew that pass. But if you've never had an annual pass or you haven't had one recently, you aren't going to be able to buy one just yet. Oh, and Tables in Wonderland, the dining discount card available to annual pass holders, Disney Vacation Club members, and Florida residents, that's also not available right now. This one isn't even up for renewals either, so once yours expires, it seems that's it for the time being. We don't know when annual passes or Tables in Wonderland will be available again, but follow along with us at DisneyFoodBlog.com, sign up for that newsletter so you don't miss any info as it comes out, because you know we're going to tell you immediately as soon as annual passes are back on the menu. Okay, let's talk park hours. They are changing regularly right now. This is one we're warning you about all the time. Luckily, Disney isn't shortening hours, so you won't suddenly end up with less time in the parks, but you may end up showing up an hour late for opening because it got pushed back. Disney's adding more hours and sometimes even adding extra ride time on certain days, and the only way you're going to know about it is if you get that push notification pop up from My Disney Experience. So always keep an eye on park hours leading up to your trip and while you're in Disney World. Things can change the week of if the parks are busy. They may extend those hours. And keep those notifications turned on for the My Disney Experience app. You may get a pop-up notification that some rides will be operating past official park close when you're in the park. This has happened to us a couple of times. You do not want to miss that extra time in the parks or on rides, especially because it often coincides with the parks being busier, which probably means you had to wait in a whole bunch of lines throughout the day already. So get your money's worth. If Disney extends those park hours, stick around. And Disney will be adding lots of new things this year. This is another thing not to get blindsided by. It's not 100% certain, but with restrictions easing and the vaccine rollout, Disney may be bringing back those hard ticket events. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. We haven't had confirmation, but hey, those may be coming back this year. And even if those after hours events don't appear, a lot of other things will. Remy's Ratatouille Adventure is opening October 1st, along with all the big yet to be announced 50th anniversary celebrations. Space 220 will eventually open, and so will Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind and the Tron coaster. If you're traveling during times that these things might be happening, join our newsletter to see what you can expect and when tickets for those special events may go on sale. We know that those are going to sell out super fast, so we will let you know ASAP. Oh, and don't forget, you've got a new restaurant to try later this year. La Crêperie over in Epcot's France is going to be a table service and counter service location that will be serving crepes. That's going to open October 1st as well. And there are two changes from the past year that you probably know about by now, but if you don't, it could seriously mess up your plans. So we're going to throw those in this video just in case. Like I said, our job is to make sure you don't get caught unaware in Disney World. We know you spend $1 million on these trips. We know you plan for years. We do not want you to be stuck without knowing about this stuff. So no Fast Pass, no dining plan currently in Disney World. Fast Pass is still on hold, which means you're going to be waiting in the standby line for everything. So plan accordingly. Budget some extra time for ride cleanings and potential weather delays. And if you're used to having the dining plan for all your Disney trips and the thought of budgeting out your food costs makes your head spin, well, we still don't know when that may be coming back. But you can pick up a copy of our DFB Guide to Walt Disney World Dining over at dfbstore.com. That ebook is 700 pages of planning resources, worksheets, budgets, price breakdowns, reviews of every single restaurant in Disney World. So pick that up and that's going to help you plan. Don't forget, you can get a discount on that guide or any of our other snack guides or bundles by using promo code YouTube. And park passes. You really need to book your park pass reservations as far ahead as you can, especially for really busy times. Personally, I have not been able to renew my annual pass. I've been calling Disney over and over again, and they haven't called me back about renewing. And so any dates I want to go to Disney World right now that I know those park passes are going to sell out, I'm actually having to buy regular tickets for those days because I know those park passes are going to sell out, like October 1st, food and wine opening, etc. So park passes, don't mess around, you guys. Book those park passes. They're free to book. You can always change them. Just have them locked in so that you're not stuck not being able to get into the park you want to be at that day. Now, as soon as you buy your tickets, go ahead and lock in which parks you're going to visit on which day. These can and do sell out, especially for major holidays. If you haven't booked your park passes for October 1st, but you're planning to be in the parks that day, book fast. And if you want to go to Magic Kingdom or Epcot, you're going to need to keep an eye out for new park pass releases because they are sold out for the 50th right now. We've gotten reports of guests complaining at their hotels because they can't get into the parks because they waited too long to book those park passes. Do not let that happen to you. Book those passes ASAP. Have I said it enough? Do you understand? Good. You're going to book your park passes as soon as you stop watching this video? Excellent. Now, so much has changed in Disney World over the past year. Things are going to continue to change as more things start to come back and reopen. So don't get caught off guard. Don't be like us and get stuck not knowing this stuff when you're in Disney World. Follow along with us here at DFB. We'll make sure you stay in the loop on anything that might affect your upcoming trip. It's our job to keep you out of trouble, and we're going to make sure you have a great trip. So thanks for following. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have have you as part of our family here at DFB Guide. And more than anything, we appreciate you watching. Thanks. Thank you for watching this video. Thanks for hanging with me with all my weird random add-ins. I appreciate you and we appreciate you. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.